Hello, bookish friends in the internet. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Drew, and this is Drew's Ambitious Reading. And for today's video, I am here to show you all of my 5-star reads that I gave throughout the year of 2022. And then afterwards, once I showed you all the books that I gave 5 stars, I narrowed it down to my top 10 books. So this is a very fun and exciting video for me to film for you guys today. So I hope you enjoy this Vlogmas Bookmas video, and it was 5 days till Christmas, so yay! We made it through the whole entire month of posting a video every single day, with the exception of last 2 days of this week though, because I was super sick. So I'm still a little sick. I still have this stupid cough that would not go away. And yeah, I just hope you enjoy this video. These are in no particular order of the 5-star, well, they actually are. They're in the order I've read them in. So starting from November, because I'm not going to show you all the books that I read in December, even though it's only like 3 books so far. But from November all the way to January are what my 5-star reads were. So without further ado, let's get started. If you have not hit that subscribe button yet or turn your notification on so you don't miss any new videos coming from me soon, I would appreciate that very, very much. And yeah, let's just get started, shall we? So in no particular order, we have The First to Die at the End by Adam Severa. We have Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sun Lin Tan. The Gilded Cage by Letty Noni. For the Wolf by Hannah Whitten. Still With Me by Jessica Casolo. The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones. The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Belladonna by Adeline Grace. Surrey Boating's Guide to Vampire Hunting by Roseanne A. Brown. The Amazing Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas. The Merciless Ones by Naomi Forna. This Poison Heart by Kaylin Barron. Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. Flashfire by TJ Klune. Forge in Silver and Stars by Bridget Kemmerer. The Honeys by Ryan Lasale. Malice and I Don't Own Valor because I give it to my friend Taylor, but Malice and Valor by John Gwynne. Amazing adult fantasy books. Definitely, spoiler alert, in the top 10. I have, let me grab the first book because I also read the first book this year. Ooh, Rhea moving, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to move you guys. There are first 2 books in the Realmbreaker series by Victoria Aveyard, Realmbreaker and Bladebreaker. Really was shocked with both of these, and Realmbreaker would be featured in another video here after this one, so very excited. Next I have is Small Town Pride by Phil Stamper, which is one of my Queerreads book club pick for the month of June this year. The Last Fallen Moon by Gracie Kim. I'm so excited for the 3rd and final book of the trilogy. Comes out June 6th, so just 6 days before my birthday, so yay. For the Wolf by Hannah Whitten. The Counselors by Jessica Goodman. An amazing thriller, definitely a spooky read for sure. Definitely one that I keep thinking about, and it was a arc I received from Penguin Teen, so thank you so much, Penguin. Next is Ballad and Dagger by Daniel Jose Older. Then I have Arusha and the Nectar of Immortality by Roshani Chakshay. Next 2 books are the same author, and that is Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn series. I've only read book 4 and 5. I'm hoping to get to book 6 in the month of December, but I have a feeling I won't because I'm in the middle of Bloodmarked and Ruin by John Gwynne. So I'm in the middle of 2 heavy fantasy books right now, so probably won't get to the Band of Mornings in December, but hoping I will, and if I don't, I'll just push it into my January TBR. Really love both of these. I think I love book 5 more than book 4 though, so if I had to choose one, it would probably be Shadow of Self. Then I have The School for Good and Evil, book 6, The One True King. Then we have 2 heavy books, the Crescent City series by by Sarah J. Maas. I almost said Study J. Maas. These are the first 2 books in the trilogy. Book 3 comes out hopefully next year. I hope so, because I absolutely loved these books. I tried reading Crescent City last year, or not even last year, but back when it first came out, and I couldn't get into it. And then I picked it up again via audiobook, and I absolutely devoured it. And I read House of Sky and Breath this year as well, and it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. The cliffhanger, though, oh my god, if you know, you know. I'm so happy I gave both of these 5 stars, and I cannot wait to see what she does in book 3. Then we have the stunning This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. Star Wars The High Republic The Fallen Order. Well, Star Wars The High Republic The Fallen Star by Claudia Gray. Underrated book in the series, and I absolutely sobbed my eyes out in this one. And this was one of the darker reads in phase 1. Then I have a graphic novel on this list, which I don't think was any graphic novels, so that's really cool. And that is Star Wars The High Republic, Volume 2, The Heart of Dragonar, I believe is how you say it, if I remember correctly. Such a fast-paced, easy read. Graphic novels are definitely your best friends if you need to get to your reading goal for the year. I just love the artwork in here. It was so, like, the scene right here was so much action happening, and it was just a fast, easy read. I literally read it in, like, less than an hour, and it was just so fun, and I cannot believe how long I had to wait for Volume 3, but I'm so happy I read Volume 3. Stay With Me by Jessica Consolo. The Temperature of You and Me, or Me and You by Brian Zapeka. The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, or I should just say the whole trilogy, but I was too lazy to grab book 2 and 3. I did tab this one. It was super fun to tab, and I absolutely loved this, and if it wasn't for book talk, I would not have picked up the series at all. And I have Aurora's End by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. And last but not least, I have Here's to Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Severa. So those were all the books I gave 5 stars, and now let's jump into my top 10. I might do top 22, but we'll see. It's going to be hard, so give me a second. So I narrowed it down to top 10 books, plus I have 5 honorable mention. So we have a total of 15 books that are going to be on my favorite list of this year. So I'm so excited. So let's start. Let's start with the honorable mentions. Let's see, do I have these all in the right order? Yes, I do. Sorry if I keep on moving, you guys. I don't know why it keeps doing that. These are the 5 books that's on my honorable mention list. So let's start here and then work our way through our top 10. So these are in no particular order. The first book here I have to talk to you today about. I really just want to talk about this book company in general, and that is Surrey Boaton's Guide to Vampire Hunting by Roseanne A. Brown. I really just want to mention Rick Riordan Presents in Print and Company, just in general, for my favorite list, because they have been putting out some great books, let me tell you. I'm going to set these down, that way they don't fall when I go and pick up books. So, like, they released The Last Fallen Moon, Aru Shah series. They also did Balin and Dagger this year. They also did Tristan Strong's trilogy. They did such an amazing, like, diverse group of authors this year. Like, I really loved all of them. So technically all 3 of these can be on my honorable mention list because it's from the same company, but very different series. But the reason why I love this one the most is because I was buddy reading this with my friend Clint over at Reads Readers here on BookTube. And the way I was texting him, I was like, oh my gosh, this ending was amazing. And he finished this before me, so I was like, I need to talk to you about this book. And he was like, that's fine, go ahead. So I really enjoyed the world of this book. The magic system was very interesting in here. It was a fun, fast-paced read, and I give it 5 stars. And even though it's not in my top 10 favorite list, I thought it would be fun to mention all my middle grade books I read in the year of 2022. But I'm very happy and can't believe I read this so quickly. And I'm dying for book 2, which has a gorgeous cover. And it comes out in September of next year, which I'm so sad to wait so long for book 2, but the cover is really pretty and I cannot wait to see it in person. And hopefully, cross my fingers, Jamie will do a tour for book 2. If not, I'm gonna be very, very sad. But she has been working with Disney a lot this year, so I'm really happy with that. But yeah, this is my first book on my honorable mention list. Next on my honorable mention list, if you saw my book talk account, you know I did a full-on book review after reading this book because that's how amazing it was. I wish I tabbed this book because I would have loved to tab it up. I also buddy read this book with my friend Lori here at the Chatty Bookworm. I'll leave her account down below. Any friends I mention in this video, I'll leave down below. But I buddy read this one in the fall season with my friend Lori, and it was just like a perfect timing for this book too, because this book was also set in like the fall/winter season, and that is The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones. I was really shocked of how much I was going to love this book, because usually with my OwlCrates, I usually don't really love them as much as I do, with the exception of one other book from OwlCrate that was on my favorite list. I really enjoyed it. This was, again, I'm not going to keep saying this throughout the video because this is my 5-star reads, but this is another 5-star read for me. It was just, the reason why this one has a 5-star is because there was a heist in here, and I didn't know how much I love a heist until I was reading this book. Like, I know I love them because there's a heist in the Six of Crows duology and the Gilded Wolves trilogy. I just love books with quests. Well, not quests, well, also quests, but with heists in them. They're just so fun, especially if they're done right, like this one. I read The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones last year when it came out and absolutely loved that one as well. I actually think that one was on my favorite list as well, if I'm not mistaken. But this one is definitely on my honorable mention list. Again, it's just so diverse. It was so fun, fast-paced read. And I literally, when I finished it, I was like, I need to go on Book Talk to talk about this with someone. And a lot of you have actually read this one because of OwlCrate as well, so I love that. That's the whole reason why I love going with OwlCrate for the book subscription boxes, because you'll find beautiful, stunning editions like this one. I really enjoyed the writing. I love the character dynamics in here. The relationship was very, very cute. I love how there's a dog as a side character. That was fun. I don't think I read anything with a side character as an animal before, and if I have, I probably forgot about it. But there's corgis in here, so that was really fun to read about and to picture in my mind. I did love the narrator for this audiobook as well, so if you want a good creepy audiobook to listen to, definitely check out The Drowned Woods. And the reason why it's not in my top 10 is because it didn't make me think about it, if that makes sense, as much as these books have that I'm going to show you, but I still, again, wanted to mention it in my honorable mentions, so here it is. The next book I have for my honorable mention list is a sequel that I read this year, and I don't know why it took me forever to read it, because this is such a short, not only is it short sequel itself, but it's such a short book, and there was so much going on, and I really enjoyed it. I really need to pick up the finale, and that is Flashfire by TJ Klune. I overall love anything TJ Klune has wrote, I think. I read House in a Cerulean Sea by him and Under the Whispering Door absolutely love those. And then I read the first book of the Extraordinary series whatever year it came out in. And then I finally picked up the sequel this year. And then Heat Wave came out over the summer. So I was supposed to read it during the summertime, but I just haven't yet. I actually read this one in the fall of this year, and it was just a fun superhero novel. If you don't know what this is about, this follows our main character named Nick, who has ADHD, and he's also gay and out to his parents. And it was a hard-hitting novel, but also a very good novel. I can't believe it took me so long to read this book. I was supposed to buddy read this with my friend Kaylani, I want to say back in August. That way we can read book 3 together, but again, I never did until like, I think I read this in September, if I remember correctly. And I really enjoyed it. The narrator for this audiobook, I forgot who it was, but I'll leave them down below. But they were just so funny. They brought the characters to life, especially when it came to the superhero, like, comedic / action scenes in here. I feel like if you love the Renegades series by Marissa Meyer, I think you'll really love this trilogy. I haven't read book 3 yet, so no spoilers for book 3, please. But I just love how its own voices, and you can definitely relate to Nick a lot, minus the superhero aspect. But I really enjoyed this, and it was just such a fun, sweet read, and I definitely can't wait to read Heat Wave in 2023. I'm very excited to see how this trilogy ends. Another book that shocked me this year, that hasn't become a favorite of mine, but still in the honorable mention, is Forged Silver and 2 Stars by Bridget Kemmerer. I don't know why it took me a minute to say the author's name. I really enjoyed this one as well. Obviously, that's why it's in this video. The characters in here was so fun to read about. This was another book that I read because of Clint. I read this right after he did, and the relationship aspect in here I really loved. I wasn't expecting a male-male romance to come out of this, though. I will say that, so that was fun to read about. It was just so fun. It was a bit slow in the very beginning, because this is a first book in the not New World, but a first book in the new spin-off series that's set in the Cursebreaker series. So I think you do have to read the Cursebreaker trilogy in order to read this one, because we follow side characters of the first trilogy in here. And I don't know when book 2 comes out, but I need book 2 like the day I finish this book, because it was so fun, so fast-paced, and I absolutely, again, loved it. It was a favorite read of the month, and I cannot wait for the sequel, and hopefully she will release it in 2023. If not, maybe 2024, maybe. But such a fun, fast-paced, and I definitely think this is an underrated book, because Bridget Kemmerer doesn't get a lot of hype here on BookTube. And then my final book in my top 5 of my honorable mention list is Malice by John Gwynne. I absolutely was blown away by this book. I had my friend Taylor visit me when I was in the hospital. She visited me multiple times, and each and every time she visited me, she kept talking about the series. Well, the first time she visited me, she was talking about the series. She was like, "You don't have any books with you?" I was like, "I do, but they're all on my iPad, which I'm using you guys as my camera." And I was like, "I have all these, but they're ebooks and it's kind of hard." She's like, "Do you want a physical book?" I was like, "Sure." So she brought her copy of Malice to the to the hospital, and she let me borrowed it, and I absolutely loved it. It was such a fun and very different series for me to read about. I overall really enjoyed it. I talked about this in one of my wrap-ups, I think in August, so I'll leave my monthly wrap-ups down below as well. But yeah, I overall really love this, and like I said, I'm in the middle of Ruin right now, so I'm hoping it doesn't destroy me like it's been destroying everyone else, but I have a feeling it will, and I'm scared to see how the series will wrap up. And I also mentioned the series on my 2023 or top 23 books to read in 2023 list, so I'll leave that video down below too. But yeah, I'm very happy I read this, and definitely a new favorite series of mine. Like, I literally binge read book 1 and 2 in the hospital, and I absolutely love them. It kept me busy and kept me turning the pages. It was just a fun, fast-paced read. So those were my 5 honorable mention lists. And I'm going to speed through my top 10 because this is already kind of a long video. So coming in at the number 1 spot, I am combining my series this year. You know, I just realized I never put the Poppy War on my list, so that should also be in my honorable mention list. So yeah, I don't know why that's not on here. Anyways, so the Poppy War is in my top 10 spot. But in my number 1 spot, I'm combining my series this year, so I am having my number 1 go to Crescent City book 1 and 2. Mostly just book 2 though, because I absolutely loved book 2. It was one that, even though it took me like 2 months to read this book, I still really enjoyed it. I started reading this when I was in Y'all West. I was actually reading this when I was in the lines of Y'all West, so it was very fun to pull this book out and just read it. That's actually how I met one of my friends there at Y'all West, because she was asking me what I was reading. I loved the mystery thriller aspect in here. It felt like an episode of NCIS, even though it has angels and demons and monsters and werewolves. I don't know, it's hard to talk about the series because it is very popular here in the book community world. I just love Sarah J Maas, and I think every single year she releases a new book, she's always on my favorite list, so that's really fun. I just really love her writing. I know a lot of people have been hating on her lately, but I really enjoyed this world, and I cannot believe it. I binge read both book 1 and 2 back to back because these are both 800 pages, so they're both hefty books. I really enjoy them. Fun, fast-paced read, even though they are very long, and they're also very adult books as well, especially in book 2. Book 2 was a wild ride, I would say, for sure. The next book on my list is one of my newer reads that I read this year, and that is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sun Lin Tan. I was really happy to say I enjoyed this novel. I picked this up on a whim last month because I wanted something fast and easy to read, and I hear that's what this was, and this was exactly what I was looking for. There was a love triangle in here that I really loved, even though I don't know who the main character, I forgot her name, Shin, is going to end up with. And it was just a fun read, and it's kind of hard for me to talk about why I love these books so much, because they all are very different and diverse. And I overall really love this. Like I keep saying, fast, fun read. And I cannot believe this was the author's debut novel. Like, what? That was crazy to read. I also loved the description of food in here. Like, anytime they were talking about food, I was like, my belly was growling the whole entire time. And I was like, oh my god, she's such a good writer. But yeah, I overall really enjoyed it. Can't believe I read it so quickly last month, and so happy it's on my favorite list. Another book that made it on my favorite list just at the very end of the year was The First to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I loved this book. This book made me cry. I tabbed it up. It was so fun. I read this for my book club, so that also has a little bit of a special meaning to the book. And then not only do I relate to one of the main characters in here, because one of the main characters had, I don't think it was open heart surgery, but they had heart surgery in here, and that was relatable. So that's when I started crying. But it was just a sweet story about 2 guys meeting for the first time and falling in love. It was such an action-packed book as well, and you wouldn't expect that from the contemporary, but it was fun seeing how Death Cast came about. It was also fun seeing who created Death Cast, why they created it, and all that. Even though Adam himself said he's not good at world building, I think the world building in here was really great. It was fun to picture everything. Even though I have not been to New York myself, it was just still very fun to picture everything and see it come to life and all that. So I cannot wait to reread this sometime soon, and I'm so happy that I loved this and happy that I read it for my book club. The next book I picked up on a whim as well this year and absolutely loved it. This is the first YA book out of the Grimes company, and that is Ballad and Dagger by Daniel Jose Older. The reason why I put this in my top 10 was because A, I read it so quickly and it was so fun, and B, the main character, Mateo, was just so funny and another relatable character. He was the comedic person in this whole series. There was also, I forgot his name because it's been a while since I read this. I read this back in like June or May, but I still remember vividly like laughing out loud a lot in this book. And this deals with, I want to say, ooh, what mythology? I forgot what mythology this was about. I want to say like Mexican inspired mythology. I could be wrong. I don't remember the correct wording for it, but I was really anticipating this one, and I'm so happy it didn't let me down, and I am dying for book 2. I need book 2 in my hand, like, now. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in book 2. This was a hero's journey type of quest as well, so if you love that trope, definitely check out this one. And like I said, this was the first YA book out of the Grimes company, so that was very fun to read about. And it's just fun, quick, easy read, so I love that. So the next book, I forgot what number this is, like number 4, I think. So the 4th book on my top 10 list is Belladonna by Adalyn Grace. Another book I buddy read with my friend Lori. I absolutely just love buddy reading with Lori. She's very fun to read with. We both have like similar reading tastes as well, so that's always fun to find someone. But we read this during Halloween weekend because we both weren't passing out candies to our houses. So we did a live reading sprint of us physically reading. Well, I was listening to it via audiobook, but I think she was physically reading this. But I've really enjoyed Belladonna. It is underrated for sure, and I can't believe not a whole lot of people are talking about this. Another book where I wish I waited for the sequel though, because oh my god, that cliffhanger. This has like a little bit of a mystery thriller aspect in here, which I wasn't really expecting at all going into this book. I thought it was just going to be a dark academic fantasy, which it still is, but it was like a mix of fantasy and mystery thriller, so it was fun to read that portion of the book. I did tab a little bit of the book, not all of it, but I wish I went back and tabbed my favorite scenes and favorite action scenes and favorite quotes and whatnot. So I'm gonna do a reread for sure of this one next year. And I think Foxglove comes out in August, I think. I could be wrong. I'll leave the correct release date down below, but I cannot wait for Foxglove, and hopefully I'll love it as much as I loved book 1. The next book I read very early on in 2023, and as soon as I closed this book, I knew it was going to be my favorite list, and that is Aurora Ends by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I keep talking about this book on my channel, and it's good for a reason. It's a sci-fi set in space full of found family, morally great characters, and some LGBT characters as well. On the back here it says, the squad you love is out of time. The alpha, the diplomat, the scientist, the gearhead, the warrior, the pilot, the trigger, the unbroken. Like, if that's not sealing you in, I don't know what. I also cried in this one, so a lot of books that made me cry usually gets to my favorite list, and that's what happened with this one, especially with the ending of this finale. I overall really enjoyed it, so I am hoping there's more to come with Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I really enjoy them. They are a fun, fast-paced read. I know I keep saying that with all my books, but they truly are. And it's very diverse group of characters in here that you just fall in love with, even though one of them I was very mad about. So we'll see if I will enjoy this series, and I cannot wait to see what Amy Kaufman has in store for us. Sorry, anytime I say the word series, my actual thing goes off, so hopefully that won't happen. But yes, I really enjoyed Aurora Ends. And next book on my list is The Sunbearer Trials by Aiden Thomas. I am mad that this didn't win in the Goodreads Choice Awards, because this was so fun. I also read this because of my book club. Wow, I have, how many book club picks do I have? 2 book club picks on this favorite list this year. That's amazing. I was so happy that I picked this for our book club as well. I really overall enjoyed the world. This was a different setting for Adam, or not Adam, oh my god. Different setting for Aiden, and I really enjoyed this. It was fun, fast-paced, and I loved the Greek mythology aspect of it, and the way I read the ending of this book was raging of anger, I guess I can say, because the way it ended on a cliffhanger, and I need book 2 like now. So really enjoy this. So happy it's on my list. The next book that's on my list is This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. Another book with a crazy cliffhanger, and another book I wish I waited for the sequel to come out. It was so fun. Love the romance in here. She's very good at her romances, and Tahereh Mafi just, she knows how to write, and I met her at YALLWEST, so that was so fun. So on to the next book on my favorite list. And the next book I have is One True King by Simone Tannier, another author that I met at YALLWEST. I really enjoyed this world. I cried in this series finale. This technically, I mean, the paperback got released in 2022, so it's not technically a new release. It's technically like a backlist title, if you want to say. But I overall loved how the series wrapped up. I was very sad to say goodbye to this world, though, but also very happy too, because I didn't want to read any more books from this author. Not that he's bad about this world, but I felt like having more than 6 books would be too long of a series, so I'm happy he's ending it with this one. But I also very sad to say goodbye to these characters. And I got my friend Taylor to read this book series, so I cannot wait to see what she thinks of it. And the final book that's on my favorite list is The Shadow of Self by Brandon Sanderson. I've already talked about this early on in the video, so past me will tell you more about this. But the banter between these 2 characters are amazing. They were so fun to read about. I was laughing aloud, and they were just fun, easy. Well, I shouldn't say easy because it was hard to get into these books, but they're quick, easy, like challenging fantasy books. So yeah, this is like my second adult fantasy, my third adult fantasy series on here. So I just love Brandon Sanderson's writing, and I cannot wait to see what he does in book 6 and 7. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, turn your notification on so you don't miss any new videos coming from me soon. Do you have a top favorite list of the year yet? What are they? Let me know down below, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.